Hi, and welcome back, guys. Hope you're all having a great day out there. We've got some news just in out of Latin America, Japan, also some economic data, and what it all means for XRP is going to be the focus of this video. Here at the end, we've got a message here at the beginning of the video, and if you do like this type of content, we're going to pack a lot of educational content in this one, give you a lot of value. Smash that like button. Many of you are familiar with Dom and Phil, who run the EasyA app in the XRP ecosystem. Dom previously worked at Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, graduated out of Wharton, and his brother Phil just put this out here last night. Whenever you think of giving up, remember that's exactly what your opponents want. And this couldn't ring more true right now, in my personal opinion, with XRP. Because when we buy XRP or just hold XRP, one thing we have to remember is we are holding a part of the new financial system, part of the rails. I don't believe that's something we should give up on. And we're getting news like this. Ripple and Bitso are expanding their long-standing payments partnership. Bitso, regulated MXN-backed stablecoin, MXNB, will be issued on the XRPL, which utilizes XRP for every single transaction, the native asset XRP, and integrate into Ripple's payments on DEX infrastructure, supporting enterprise stablecoin settlement across Latin America. So together, RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, which brings value to the XRPL, again, that's exactly what we want to see. Value on the XRPL means value to XRP. Every single transaction utilizes XRP and has a small burn of XRP. And MXNB USD and MXN liquidity to the XRPL's permission DEX, helping enable real-world enterprise payment flows. And if we read more here, this is the official press release that just came out here today, talking about how Ripple, the leading provider of blockchain-based enterprise solutions across traditional and digital finance, today announced the expansion of its long-standing payments partnership with Bitso, Latin America's leading digital financial service company. And as part of the collaboration, Bitso's regulated MXN-backed stablecoin, MXNB, will be issued on the XRPL. And we know that Ripple, the XRPL, and XRP are deep and heavy in Latin America. Just last year, it came out about Brasa Bank, which is one of Brazil's largest exclusive foreign exchange banks by volume traded, utilizing the BRL peg stablecoin, BBRL, on the XRP ledger, which is exactly what we want to see. Now, as we look at this overall space, whether we're getting clarity in this space or not right now in the United States, the world moves forward. We just did a piece on Japan yesterday talking about Japan integrating XRP into banking systems. Well, here today it came out about Japan advancing bill to reclassify cryptocurrencies as financial products and cut taxes from 55% to 20%. As Senator Cynthia Lomas puts out, the Clarity Act draws a line between digital assets that are securities and those that are commodities. We needed that line for a decade. We've been begging for years in this market for clarity here in the United States. And we've got the likes of Elizabeth Warren and Jamie Dimon trying to fight it. While here today, we've got Senator Tim Scott saying digital assets are part of the future of finance. We can either lead the next era of innovation or be left watching it happen elsewhere. America doesn't follow, we lead, he states, a little over a minute or a little under a minute and a half right here.
The truth of the matter is that we can either lead in America or watch the dust from a distance. We're not going to do that. We're going to lead in America. Why? Because we're Americans. Maria, we have to make sure that we have an environment that is conducive for the brightest minds, the greatest thinkers, entrepreneurs to descend upon America to make sure that we are the economic financial capital of the world for another generation. Frankly, what we've already seen, Maria, with stable coins is that our dollar dominance is actually increasing. More than $300 billion of more activity around the world because of stable coins. And where is the activity happening? Around the dollar, because stable coins requires dollars or U.S. treasuries to back every single penny that you find in stablecoins. Really good news for America's dollar remaining the reserve currency of the world. And if you look into the future beyond that, single mothers like the one that raised me, people working paycheck to paycheck, democratization through digital assets will bring down the cost of transactions and speed up the time of delivery, so the banks and or anyone else is not holding your money and earning interest. You'll be able to earn that interest yourself. This is good news.
But it's going to get through. And we're seeing Ripple, the XRPL, and XRP, that native asset on the XRPL, move forward as AI agents begin transacting on behalf of businesses. Payments need more speed. They need trust, controls, and clear rules for how value moves. We're helping build the infrastructure for trusted agent-driven payments with the XRP ledger and RLUSD helping lay the foundation for the future of commerce. We're pleased to be part of the ecosystem supporting MasterCard's Agent Pay for Machine initiative, helping validate new use cases, establish common rules, and accelerate adoption. AI is highly beneficial to crypto because the two technologies complement each other extremely well. And so this is what we've got going on in this ecosystem, guys. It is frustrating when we are in these type of markets that are heavily influenced by what's going on with broader macro conditions. Here today, we had US PPI rising to 6.5%, higher than expectations. But when we look at the market, it didn't even affect the market here today. Actually, the market slightly up. We're still in extreme fear, but a lot of this that is going on with economic data right now is already baked into this market. Now, I'm going to leave iTrust Capital link below, guys. You know I love them. They've got the $100 funding sign up bonus. IRAs, traditional Roth SEP. You can get all of that with iTrust Capital, institutional grade custody for free. They've got accounts for businesses, trusts, nonprofits, 24/7 to buy, sell crypto, gold, and silver. No monthly fee there, and only 1% for trading. But as we look at all of this, guys, we look at the big picture here. And Evernorth just put out total tokenized real world assets on the XRP network reached 4.18 billion market cap last month, up 28x in the last 12 months is tokenized real world assets on the XRP network, reaching 4.18 billion in market cap just last month. Evernorth, XRP treasury company Evernorth, just put out this. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what is going on in this digital revolution. So we're going to continue to be here for you. We're not going to leave during times like this and hard times in the market. We're going to be here to encourage, to motivate, and continue to push the word about XRP, what's happening in this movement. And when we see the market turn around, XRP will be extremely explosive, and eventually the utility is going to take over. And that's going to allow XRP to decouple away from Bitcoin, leaving Bitcoin and other coins out there that don't have the same utility that XRP does behind. That is the future that we're moving into, with XRP being a big part of that future. And so that is why it's important to continuously focus on what you hold rather than the short-term volatility. Again, these conditions don't last forever, but one thing I'm 100% certain of that will last forever, that's XRP. Now, the last thing I want to do here today, guys, and show you is Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, who is not holding back. He just went on Fox Business to call out Jamie Dimon's pushback on the crypto regulation as an international misrepresentation. 13 trillion in legacy volume, 0% on chain, yet stablecoins are the chat GPT moment of finance. He revealed Ripple Treasury handled a massive $13 trillion in legacy payments last year and explained why the multi-trillion-dollar gap is the ultimate crypto opportunity. The tides have officially changed. Guys, I want to show you this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Thank you so much for being here. And let me just say that Galaxy is predicting a 60% chance that the Clarity Bill passes before the August recess. That's lower than a previous estimate. But you heard what Jamie Dimon said to me. He's not happy with the Clarity Act. He doesn't like the fact that the crypto companies will be able to pay rewards. He's going to fight it and continue fighting it. He doesn't believe Brian Armstrong at Coinbase is representing the industry. What is your take from Ripple's standpoint?
Well, first, I think you have to recognize that Jamie Dimon has been dismissing this industry for a decade. He's called it a Ponzi scheme. He's called Bitcoin a pet rock. And if you look at JP Morgan, they generate $20 billion of revenue from their payments business and over $5 billion of profit. So I think Jamie Dimon also should be clear that, he is trying to protect and dig a deeper moat for a business that's extremely profitable for them, and they want to kind of maintain the status quo. So I think, as much as we could talk about whether or not Brian Armstrong is representing the industry, he's not. He's representing Coinbase, and in certain ways, he's going to look out for Coinbase's best interest. But at the end of the day, I think what Jamie Dimon did a disservice around when he did that interview with you, which I think was a great interview, is that he's representing that this reduces compliance concerns, or it actually makes it easier to do bad things. And that's just not true. It's either intentionally misrepresentation or even negligent to try to make support for the Clarity Act go away.
Okay. Well, Brad, I mean, this is a victory for Ripple, and it's a victory for the crypto industry. How do you turn or convert regulatory victories here, where you are looking at a framework and you are looking at the regulation open up for the crypto industry? How do you turn that into financial adoption when you look at Main Street, when you look at potential customers?
Well, let's look at it start with the consumer. 90% of crypto trading right now is offshore, not in the United States. That isn't protecting U.S. consumers. We actually want that to be and have protections by adopting frameworks so that more of that happens domestically. That is a step, a positive step. Now, as you know, Ripple is really focused on the enterprise. We serve banks, we serve payment providers, we serve prime brokerage customers, corporates. So we're not focused on consumers. And what we find is when something like the Clarity Act gets passed, that certainty allows CFOs and treasurers and bank executives to lean in, where right now they might be a little bit nervous that a future regulator, a future Gary Gensler, who really was attacking this industry, could rekindle some of those attacks. And so the Clarity Act really puts that to bed. As Tim Scott said on this show earlier today, it allows the United States to lead in an industry where we have been lagging because we haven't had this clarity. The industry wants clarity and wants regulation. And when you have Jamie Dimon representing that somehow we're trying to circumvent regulation, like nothing could be further from the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ripple is launching a new AI starter kit for the XRP ledger, curated set of tools to allow developers to build agent-powered applications and make payments on the company's ledger. Brad, this is a big deal. Congrats on this launch. Tell us more about this.
Well, look, we all, I think, are trying to figure out what AI is going to and how it's going to change our economy, how it's going to change workers, but it's also going to change infrastructure. And you are already seeing really experimentation and science experiments, but you're seeing examples where AI agents actually are enabling payments. And so we want to make sure that we are future ready and future proof is how we think about XRP and the XRP ledger. There's an announcement yesterday where MasterCard is partnering with about 30 different companies in the industry to help construct some of that. We were a part of that. And we certainly think there's going to be more opportunity around that. That's not to say there's not going to be risks. I think sometimes the excitement around these things get ahead of reality. I'm not going to go connect a AI agent to, my brokerage account or my primary checking account. I'm happy to go experiment and, to do things, and let's see where this all goes. But I think there's going to have to be a lot of protections and structure around that before people really connect their bank account to an AI agent.
Well, you're right. And that is why I think there is a very significant amount of seriousness on this issue in government. People recognize that there are risks to agentic AI. We've seen, evidence that they can act or behave unpredictably. So what kind of legislation do you want to see in place in terms of putting the guidelines? And when we look at Congress passing comprehensive digital assets legislation, what does that unlock for Ripple right now that cannot happen currently?
Well, look, I think as we have seen, we're kind of late to the game with legislation around digital assets. I think we should get ahead of that around AI. Ripple isn't obviously going to lead that effort in the way we have it around digital assets. But again, unlocking that clarity, I mean, Ripple has grown dramatically over the course of the last year. Without that, a lot of that growth is non-U.S. We expect to end this year with $1 billion revenue run rate, not including the XRP on our balance sheet. So we're seeing dramatic growth because we're able to serve a broader set of customers. There's significant demand. And even as I said earlier, Jamie Dimon used to only say bad things about this industry, and even he is acknowledging things like stablecoins are really going to be an integral part of our future payment system.
Oh, you're absolutely right. So when you look at the growth story at Ripple, we want to take a look at XRP this morning. But where is the next major growth market right now for Ripple? Is it in payments? Is it in tokenized assets? Is it stablecoins or banking infrastructure?
Well, look, we have seen dramatic growth in our what we call Ripple Treasury. Ripple Treasury is infrastructure. Think about it as a CFO's dashboard. So if you're running a Fortune 50 all the way down to a Fortune 2000 company and you've got bank accounts and currencies around the world, having a single snapshot so you can see what currencies you're holding, where your liquidity is, that has been a big growth area for us. And what we know is those CFOs, more than ever before, are asking, hey, how could stablecoins fit into that mix? And the opportunity to then bring RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, to the fore and solve those payments problems and just making it seamless. I'm super excited about the acquisitions we made last year and how these different pieces fit together and unlock for customers like CFOs, for customers around payments. And our stablecoin growth, we launched that about 18 months ago, and it's already a top 5 stablecoin. We're continuing to see growth there, and we're certainly excited about what's ahead in 2026.
Well, those acquisitions certainly made a lot of investors believe that Ripple has become part of the global financial system. And do you want to do more acquisitions to continue scaling up? Do you need that to scale up?
Right now, Maria, it's kind of, focus on what we have, stick to our knitting a little bit. When you go out and buy 2 kind of very large organizations, you're integrating those, you kind of want to take a moment and digest. There is, however, a lot of dynamic activity in our industry. You saw Bullish, a public company, announce a deal for Equinity, which I think is a very smart deal for them. Yeah. So I think you're going to continue to see opportunities, and we will remain proactive. We have a very strong balance sheet, both in dollars and stable and in XRP.
Brad, it's great to have you. We're watching the growth story, certainly, and we will talk soon. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Maria.
Brad Garlinghouse joining us from Ripple. We'll be right back.